Welcome to Ascend and Awaken, a life of balance. There is a place beyond thought where something ancient waits for you, not a concept, not a doctrine, not a feeling you can chase or manufacture. It is a pure, naked presence that most people will spend their entire lives ignoring. And the medieval mystic who wrote one of the most extraordinary spiritual documents in human history knew exactly how to point you toward it. Today we are going inside a text called the Cloud of Unknowing, written anonymously somewhere in 14th-century England. What this anonymous author understood about the soul's deepest movement toward God is going to challenge everything you think you know about what prayer actually is. By the end of this, you may experience an irreversible shift within yourself, leading to a deeper understanding of your relationship with God and the nature of prayer. Let me start with a question that sounds simple, but really is not. What do you do when you reach the absolute limit of what your mind can understand about something sacred? Most of us do one of two things. We push harder, read more books, listen to more teachers, accumulate more information, more techniques, and more frameworks to enhance our understanding and practice of spirituality, which can lead to a deeper connection with our beliefs and a more fulfilling spiritual journey. Or we give up entirely and decide that the whole spiritual enterprise was probably just wishful thinking anyway. But what if there is a third option? What if the limit of understanding is not a wall, but a doorway? That is the radical premise of the Cloud of Unknowing, and it is the reason this text has been quietly transforming serious contemplatives for over 600 years. The author writes for a very specific kind of person, not the spiritually curious, not the casual seeker looking for inspiration on a Sunday morning. He is writing for someone already deep in the interior life. He writes for someone who has been silent for a long time, allowing them to see something real inside. He is addressing those who have reached a plateau in traditional prayer and thought practices, feeling that their established methods no longer foster spiritual growth or connection. If you have ever felt that all your spiritual knowledge is somehow getting in the way rather than helping, this text was written for you. The author asserts that one must bury intellectual knowledge of God, regardless of its brilliance or sophistication, under a veil of forgetfulness, not rejected, not destroyed, just gently set aside. The mind is incapable of grasping what you are reaching for. Here is where the real paradox begins. The author tells us that between the soul and God there are two clouds. Above you is the cloud of unknowing, the mystery of God that no created intellect can penetrate. Below you is the cloud of forgetting, everything else, including distractions, worldly concerns, and past experiences that can hinder one's spiritual focus. Every thought, every image, every beautiful spiritual concept. The contemplative must learn to press even the good thoughts beneath themselves when entering into this kind of prayer. Let that land. This includes even your most cherished theological insights. The author acknowledges these things have value in ordinary life. He is saying that in this particular moment of naked, loving attention, even your best ideas about God become obstacles to Him. That is spiritual honesty at its most uncompromising. So, what do you do instead? The Cloud of Unknowing offers something almost shockingly simple. You offer a short word. If possible, it should be a single syllable. Love. God. Yes, you are not using God to achieve success, but it is what the author calls a dart of longing love aimed at the cloud. You are not trying to think about God. You are choosing again and again to return. You are directing your naked will towards something you cannot see, understand, or earn. The author says this simple act of loving intention, sustained in darkness, is the highest form of prayer available in this life. This is not a strategy for spiritual success. It is surrender, and surrender is terrifying. The mind does not want to let go of its frameworks, its certainties, It's a carefully constructed map of reality. There is a reason the cloud feels dark. It feels dark because everything you normally use to orient yourself has been deliberately set aside, leaving you disoriented and vulnerable in an unfamiliar space. You are standing in interior darkness, reaching toward mystery with nothing but love. And that love is not a feeling you manufacture. It is a direction for the whole self. We live in an age of information saturation. Our minds are flooded with content, stimulation, and endless analysis. Here is a 14th-century monk diagnosing the core spiritual disease of our moment before it arrived. He knew that the compulsive movement of the thinking mind was the primary obstacle to the deepest interior life. He just situated that insight in the Christian contemplative tradition. Drawing from apophatic theology, the theology of negation, he understood that God so exceeds all categories that even our most exalted descriptions fall short. It is one thing to say that philosophically. Sitting in silence and letting go of your concepts is a completely different matter, as it requires a deep, experiential engagement with the divine that transcends intellectual understanding. There is a beautiful tension in this text. On one hand, this kind of prayer cannot be forced. Grace does the work. On the other hand, the contemplative must show up consistently, with intention, with willingness. It is not passive, but it is not self-powered either. It is what we might call active receptivity, disciplined openness. And that paradox is not a problem to solve. It is the shape of the practice itself. The Cloud of Unknowing asks a simple but devastating question. Have you ever actually stopped? Not slowed down, stopped. Have you ever remained at the edge of what your mind can do and simply stayed there in darkness without demanding understanding? The anonymous author believed that love is enough. The anonymous author believed that the soul that humbly directs itself toward God through the cloud without demanding light or consolation is performing the highest act a human being can, not because the darkness is the goal. The goal is always God. However, it's important to remember that the cloud represents the path you must traverse. Not knowing is not the destination, it is the door. The author is careful here. This is crucial because a description can transform an experience into a concept. But he hints that on the other side of sustained, loving unknowing, something opens, revealing deeper insights and connections that were previously obscured, allowing for a richer understanding of oneself and others. It's not because you've earned it. This is not due to your mastery of a particular technique, but because you stayed. You stayed long enough for the darkness to reveal that it was never absent. It was depth. Thank you for spending this time with me here on Ascend and Awaken. If this reflection landed somewhere real in you, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever experienced the edge of not knowing in your prayer or meditation? If Ascend and Awaken supports your spiritual journey, consider subscribing so we can continue exploring these ancient pathways together. Peace, love, and light to you on your continual spiritual journey.